All right, guys, it's episode 600. You know what that means? It's time for another Maldives Honeymoon launch strategy. I'm going to be giving you guys step by step what you need to do in order to have the best launch that you can have for your Amazon products. How cool is that? Pretty cool, I think. Black Box by Helium 10 houses the largest database of Amazon products and keywords in the world outside of Amazon itself. We have over 2 billion products and many millions more keywords from different Amazon marketplaces, from USA to Australia to Germany and more. Use our powerful filters to search through this database for pockets of opportunity that you might want to get into with your first or next product to sell on Amazon. For more information, go to h10.me/blackbox. Don't forget you can save 10% off for life on Helium 10 by using our special code SSP10. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Serious Sellers Podcast by Helium 10. I am your host, Bradley Sutton, and this is the show that's completely BS-free, unscripted, and unrehearsed, organic conversation about serious strategies for serious sellers of any level in the e-commerce world. All right, and for you guys watching this on YouTube, you just saw me do a dramatic transition from the pool. I'm here in the Maldives at a new resort that I've never been in, and I'm recording this as I do every year, the Maldives Honeymoon launch episode. This is now like the 8th version, I think. We used to do it every 50 episodes on the like the 100 and the 50. Now we only do it every 100 episodes. So about once a year I come out here to the Maldives on my own dime. I'm paying for this myself, and then I just take a couple days vacation and also record the episode for what Maldives Honeymoon launch strategy. All right. So if this is your first time listening to one of these, you don't need to go back and listen to the others because every year I update it. But basically, just a brief history is I started really focusing on what can give you the best bang for your buck for launches. And we all know about the so-called Amazon honeymoon period, where you get a little bit more bang for your buck when your product is just coming out. But then I started noticing things that gave me like that extra oomph, like a very special honeymoon, which is how I came up with the name Maldives Honeymoon, and that's why I am here. And for dramatic effect, I always come here to Maldives. I'm here at a resort I've never been. It's the Huvafen Fashi Hilton, I believe it's called, but really great resort out here. And here on my last day, and I wanted to go ahead and share with you guys the new strategies. So what we're going to be going over today is I'm going to go over, first of all, this is like version 6.0 of this strategy, where we are going to just break down what are the steps. And this isn't just me coming up with these steps. Like, I've been testing it the last year. I've been testing stuff this month, last month, the previous month. I'm constantly doing tests to make sure, hey, what is the best strategy? And guess what, guys? If you listen to episode 500, the last time I did one of these episodes, it's different than what I'm going to talk about today, because things on Amazon do change over time. And that's why I do this every 100 episodes. So we're going to first go over the list of what makes up this strategy right now, and then I'll show you guys some examples of some things that I did to show how I even came up with this, why it works. All right, so first let's talk about product research. The Maldives Honeymoon strategy actually doesn't always have to, but it can start with your product research. When you're finding a new product to operate, I don't always just have the Maldives Honeymoon strategy in mind, but it's something that allows me to kind of like pick the cream of the crop, okay? So one of those features that I look for is a low title density. In Helium 10 Black Box, you use the filter under keywords for title density. That means how many listings on page 1 have this exact search keyword in the title. Now, first of all, hold on. Let me just back up really quick. And one elephant that's in some people's rooms, not in everybody's, is, hey, wait a minute, isn't launch and creating listings and things completely different now here towards the end of 2024 because of Cosmo algorithm and Rufus and this and that? And first of all, just spoiler, no, 100% the same. I'm not doing anything differently. That being said, I'm going to go deep into, might have already been depending on where I'm recording this, but I'm going to go deep into another episode where we talk about what the future holds because of AI and different things. But the beauty is that don't listen to people who are trying to say that, hey, everything has changed right now, because it hasn't. I am not doing anything differently because of AI, and I'm having the exact same successes. Now, the reason is because I have never been somebody just focusing on keyword stuffing or keyword relevancy as the be-all filter and stuff. If you're doing that, your launch strategies would have gone out of kind of like fashion years ago, because Amazon searches evolved before AI, before so-called Cosmo or Rufus and things like that. No, it's you got to do more than just stuff your keywords or your listings with keywords. All right. We've been teaching that you have to have the customer in mind when you guys are coming up with your listing, when you're choosing keywords, and not just have the Amazon algorithm in mind. Okay. And that's what we've always, even though the kind of strategies have changed, that's what we've always focused on in the Maldives Honeymoon strategy is you're balancing Amazon algorithm with the customer. And again, nothing has changed. Even though there's Rufus now and there's, developed algorithms, if you're still doing that, you are 100% fine. So don't get confused with people telling you that, hey, you've got to completely change everything you do or else you're completely irrelevant to the Amazon algorithm. Now, that being said, I hope nothing changes in the 3 weeks that from the time I'm recording this to the time I am releasing this, because I actually am recording this before Amazon Accelerate. Who knows? Maybe something will come up from Amazon Accelerate that completely changes this. I was teaching the Maldives Honeymoon strategy to do refunds and giveaways. All right, for like 2 years, the Maldives Honeymoon strategy, you do a giveaway and you rebate them. Why? Because that was allowed by Amazon I was teaching that till the very day it wasn't. So I don't like to be the one who speculates about what could change, what does change. I'm going to tell you what's working. And, we can, kind of have in mind, hey, well, what could happen, but not to the point where it distracts you from what is working. And so that's what I'm always going to do. I'm going to give you the facts, guys, without speculation or things about what might change. And then the instant that something does change, or Amazon announces some policy shift, or they announce something that, the different way that you have to make your listings, we'll go ahead and shift the Maldives Honeymoon strategy. All right. So just keep that in mind. Everything I talk about right now has nothing to do with AI and different things, because these strategies are working right now, even though there's, Rufus and different things like that. All right. So again, going back to the product research, low title density is something I look at because that gives me an idea. If some of the main keywords in a niche have a low title density number, that means it's going to be really easy for me to get to page 1 of those search results, because that's just one of the ways the Amazon algorithm works. How it says that something is relevant for a keyword is like, hey, is that keyword in the title? And if there's not that many listings that have that keyword in the title, well, it's like, okay, well, maybe this listing isn't that important for this keyword. All right. So that's one of the factors I look at. Another thing I could look at, again, not like I'm only looking for this, but it's just stuff that gives me more confidence when I do launch, especially if I have like 5 or 6 options and I'm like, all right, I only want to launch 1 or 2 products. Which are the 1 or 2 that I'm going to do first? Well, these are the things I'm looking at. So another one is I look at brand analytics and I'm looking at, hey, is there a total domination of 1 or 2 products, because they're getting the majority of the clicks, the majority of the purchases? Or on the flip side, is the top 3 clicks, do they only make up like 10% of the conversions, meaning 90% is wide open? I can go either way and it'll give me some confidence that says, hey, if just one listing is dominating the clicks and the purchases, and I don't think that listing is that great or that product is that great, that gives me some confidence that, hey, maybe I can go in right away and from day one, maybe dominate a little bit, right? On the flip side, maybe if it's wide open, I'm like, oh shoot, like people are just buying all kinds of products here on page 1. The top 3 click products only make up 10% of the sales. That could give me some confidence too that, hey, I can have a lot better conversion share than these top 3 click products. So that's just one of the things I look at as well. Another thing I like looking at is in Amazon, not even Helium 10, but in Amazon Product Opportunity Explorer. I look at the conversion rate for the keyword. All right. So in the conversion rate, if it has like less than 1%, I'm like, wow, this is great. That means that out of every 100 searches, less than 1 person actually buys something when they search that. That could be an indication that there's opportunity that people aren't finding what they're looking for. I said not in Helium 10, but for those of you who don't have Helium 10, use Product Opportunity Explorer. You can do that inside of Helium 10 with the keyword sales metric. All right. So that we have estimated sales. And so if you have a huge differentiation between search volume and keyword sales, guess what? You found a keyword where not many people are seeing what they're looking for, and thus people aren't buying it. And so that means if you can figure out what's the gap, why are people searching for this, but why aren't they buying anything on the page? Now, all of a sudden, you've got a huge advantage, and that could be a great opportunity to get in a certain niche. So these are some of the things I look at even before we're talking about launch. Even though I know this is a launch episode, those are some of the things that help me decide which keywords I'm going to launch. Now, second step before we even get to the launch is the keyword research, and this is the key. All right, this is super key, and this is where I really think that, even though you can do launches without Helium 10, guys, if you're using another tool that doesn't have these things I'm about to mention, you are leaving lots of money on the table with potential keywords. And so let me go over those. Now, the first thing I like to do is I'll put in 10 or 15 of the top competitors into Cerebro. Okay, so I'll take a baseline product, throw in 10 competitors, 15 competitors, minimum 5. unless, I'm in a brand new niche where there's not much to look at. Let's just pretend that we're talking about something where there are at least 5 competitors that I can look at. First thing I do is I just hit the one click button, top keywords in Cerebro. That gives me all of the keywords that most of the top competitors, or most of these top competitors, are all ranking for, and they're ranking highly for. Instantly, these I know are my keywords. And so I'll take that, put it to, like a keyword list that I have, my keyword list. Next thing I do is I look at the opportunity keywords. It's another one click button. I hit opportunity keywords, and now that shows me, hey, where are the keywords where a maximum of only 1 or 2 products are crushing it and the others are not even in the ball game, because that gives me a list of keywords that I'm going to go ahead and not have some as much competition. Those top keywords everybody's competing for. That's great. I need to know that those are the most relevant keywords usually to a niche. But these opportunity keywords, the reason why we call it opportunity is because, hey, these are getting sales for maybe 1, max 2 products. The others might not even know about this keyword. They're not even ranking for it really. So that could be an opportunity for you to come in. Instead of having a keyword that you're competing with all 10 or 15 top competitors, you're just competing with 1 or 2, right? All right, so that's another one. Now, by the way, guys, I like setting up 2 different keyword lists. I put everything into a main keyword list, all right, inside of Helium 10. But then I set up a second keyword list. Now, this is something new. I haven't done this in the past, but where I'm putting in some of my outlier keywords where I'm like, hey, this is not going to be one of the top keywords, but I want to make sure I have this in phrase form. All right, so I'm looking for another 10, 15 keywords that I'm going to put in this special list, 15 to 20, maybe even more. Maybe I can go up to 30. I still want to put my main keywords in phrase form, but these are the ones where it's not going to have a high competitive performance score. I'll talk to you a little bit about that later. But I still want to make sure, it's like making a mental note. Hey, these are the keywords I want to put in phrase form, even though they might not be one of my main keywords. I'll explain a little bit more why later. Now, the next step I do in Cerebro, again, we're still looking at those keywords where I did 10 to 15, is I want to look at where one competitor is ranking in the top 10. At least just one. Forget about what the other guys are ranking for. What are all the keywords where one guy is ranking the top 10 out of those 5, 10, 15 competitors, all right? Copy those keywords to my keyword list because, hey, those are keywords getting sales for one of my competitors. Why can't I get sales for it, right? It's not always going to be the most relevant keyword, right? So some of them are random. Obviously, a lot of brand names are going to come up. I'm not putting in brand names keywords into my listing. I would obviously exclude those. The next step is, hey, where is just one competitor ranking in the top 50? Let's make it a little bit more broad. Like it's not going to be that relevant for me, but hey, I might want to get indexed for it. And by the way, the more keywords that you put in your listing that you share ranking with these other competitors, it's setting you up for success from day one as far as relevancy to the Amazon algorithm. Because Amazon, remember, if you have a brand new product, Amazon doesn't know what your product is. It just can go by what's in your listing. And so the more that you can relate yourself to other products with established histories, it means from day one, it's going to be like, okay, we're going to give a shot to this product for these other keywords because it looks similar to this other listing, right? But, or because it has the same keywords, but we're not exactly sure it's relevant for this, but let's give it a try. That's kind of like how the honeymoon period even works. The next step is I'm going to go for, again, this is something new-ish I've been doing just to get more keywords, is 75% of the top competitors are ranking for a keyword, just ranking at all. All right, so obviously this is some keywords. I could have some completely off-the-wall keywords here, but here's the thing: 75% of the top competitors. That means if I had 10 competitors that I put in Cerebro, I need at least 7 or 8 competitors all ranking for it, anywhere between 1 and 306. And the reason is maybe people aren't getting sales for it, but there's a reason. Most keywords have 1,000, 10,000 products indexed for the keyword. That means searchable, but only 7 pages of search results come up, right? Only 306 listings come up. Now, if you can find keywords where maybe nobody's even ranking that high for it, but they're all in the top 306, now all of a sudden it's like, hey, this is probably somewhat relevant. Even maybe it's not to the customer yet, but to Amazon, there's signs that Amazon has said, hey, this deserves ranking. All right, now there's where Helium 10 comes in. You use other tools like Jungle Scout or Data Dive, which is driven by Jungle Scout. They're only looking at the top, I think 100 or 150 ranks. So you're going to miss out on tons of keywords. I'll be doing another podcast later where I talk a little bit more about how many keywords you miss out if you're using another tool. But that's one of the main advantages, or not one of the main, but one of the many advantages, I should say, of Helium 10 is we're looking at all the ranks. All right, so if you're only looking at the top 150, you can miss out on some valuable keywords. Next thing is another Amazon or Helium 10 only metric of Amazon recommended rank. Remember, Helium 10 has a direct connection with Amazon for their relevancy score, which we call Amazon recommended rank. It's because it's what Amazon recommends that you advertise for due to relevancy. All right. So I want to see what are the keywords that 75% of the listings, again, 7 out of 10, 3 out of 5, 10 out of 15, 11 out of 15, actually, I should say, are all on this Amazon recommended rank. That means they're all on Amazon's relevancy radar, and it's a top 200 average. All right. In Helium 10, you can pick the Amazon recommended rank average. So that means across the board that on average, it's one of the top 200 keywords that Amazon thinks is relevant. All right. So again, these are keywords that you're not going to find in other tools, but these could help you get these little sales, like 1 or 2 sales here or there with some of these keywords. That's really going to help you get ahead of the competition. The last thing I'm doing in Cerebro with those top 15, 10, 5, 10, 15 listings is I'm looking for where 75% of the competitors are all advertising for the keyword. Now, I might go take it a little bit, narrow and say, hey, show me where at least 3 competitors are advertising like the top 10 positions, right? Then I know they're spending money. And sure, I'll run that. But at the very least, I want to see where, hey, at least 7 out of 10, at least 11 out of 15 of my top competitors, they're all showing up in the sponsored results, all right? Up to 105 locations. Again, this is not something that all tools have. Some tools are only showing you where the top 40 or top 50 sponsored ads. But again, I like to look at the top 7 pages, because if they're showing up in the top 7 pages, their bid has got to be somewhat high, where it's even in the ballpark. And so if you're not looking at all 7 pages, you could be leaving money on the table. So by now, at this point, I've got like a good 200-300 or even more keywords. Not all I'm going to be able to get in my listing, not all definitely in phrase form, but this gets me on a good start. And one more thing that I like to do is I like to look at the historical trend. All right. This is another Helium 10 exclusive where, like, let's say I'm looking into egg racks. Maybe I think that in February, March, when Easter is coming, a lot of people are searching for different keywords. So I can hit this show historical trend, and then I could look either at the product level or the entire niche level. Hey, what's going on in like February of the last couple of years, and where were these products getting sales in February? And then it's kind of like taking a time machine in Cerebro, going back and looking, all right, let me go ahead and pull all the important keywords in February. And then I can see, oh, there's a whole bunch of keywords maybe that are not showing up right now. So super important. This is something that is going to get you a lot of the historical keywords and the seasonal keywords that other tools just aren't going to show you, because it's only showing you what's going on now. Now, the next thing I do is I'll take maybe 3 or 4 of those top keywords, the ones that had the highest competitor performance score in Cerebro. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and throw those one by one into Magnet, and then I'm going to filter down for Smart Complete. Smart Complete is showing me the long tail versions of that keyword in various forms. So in other words, for example, coffin shelf. All right, so that's for my coffin shelf, that's the main keyword. I put that in Magnet, hit Smart Complete. It's going to show me probably not that many, because, coffin shelf isn't a huge keyword. I'm going to get a good 15, 20 keywords where it'll be like coffin shelf for men, spooky coffin shelf, Halloween coffin shelf, whatever, things like that. But I want to, those ones might not have a lot of ranking yet, for whatever reason, but I'm going to go ahead and copy those keywords. A lot of it probably came up in my Cerebro, but there's always going to be like 2 or 3 keywords that probably didn't come up in Cerebro, but that there's searches for, especially if I'm using a search volume filter. And I want to get those in my listing too, because hey, if my product is a coffin shelf, I want to know what are the different forms of coffin shelf that people are searching for. Let me get those in my listing as long as they're relevant. So I'll go ahead and do that in Magnet. Next step is I can do this either in Helium 10, which is actually easier, or I can do this in top search terms, brand analytics, and Amazon. I'm going to take some of those top competitors, all right, those top 5, those top 10, and I am going to go back in history, and I want to see any time that they were one of the top 3 clicked and they had purchases. All right, it's not just a matter of being one of the top 3 clicked. They could be one of the top 3 clicked for forever, but if they never had purchases, well, is that really a valuable keyword for them? Most of the keywords I'm going to come up with here are going to have already been what I found in Cerebro. But every now and then you'll find some random keyword, because maybe they just randomly were ranking for it one day, or they just randomly got shown in an auto campaign. They never even realized it, so they never had other sales again other weeks. But I'm going to go back and look week by week for the past 6 months or so. Now, this is kind of a tedious task. Now, soon, Helium 10 in our brand analytics black box tool, you're going to be able to look at multiple date ranges. So it's going to be just a couple clicks of a button. But right now, whether you're using Helium 10 or Amazon, it's going to be kind of tedious. You're going to have to go week by week over the past 6 months if you really want to do this right, and just look at all the keywords where they were one of the top 3 clicked, your top competitors, maybe only your top 5, and where they actually had more than 0% conversion share, meaning they actually had purchases for. I'm going to put that to my keyword list. Some of those I might actually put to that special keyword list where it's my top keywords. All right. Next thing here is something that's been in my Maldives Honeymoon for a while. Very unique, once again, to Helium 10, is you want to look at the frequently bought together of some of your top competitors. I'm not going to do this to all 15, but I'll put in my top 5 competitors into black box product targeting. Now, what this is going to do is it's going to show me for these products, I can do it one by one, or I could put them all in, what other products have shown up in the frequently bought together for these products. All right, remember, Amazon frequently bought together is showing you products that people bought in the same purchase experience. So for example, it's not like the old metric that was customer also bought, where like maybe Monday I bought a coffin shelf and Wednesday I bought diapers, right? Like, yeah, sure, that's one customer who bought those two things, but are those relevant? No. But then if something is frequently bought together in the same shopping cart experience, it's usually because they're kind of relevant towards each other. Like maybe it's a coffin shelf plus like a spider web shelf or something like that, or it's a coffin shelf plus some spooky decor item because somebody's, decorating their Halloween haunted house or something like that, right? So what I'm looking for is not other coffin shelves, and other coffin shelves are going to come up because sometimes people buy 2 of the same products or whatever your product is. I'm looking for what are the products that are showing up and frequently bought together with my competitors or my future competitors that are completely different. I don't want to say completely different, but I mean, it's not a coffin shelf. So in other words, I want to look for a product that's like a coffin shelf with a bat-shaped bath rug or something where it's like, oh yeah, obviously this person is buying this kind of themed stuff, but it's not a competitor. A bat-shaped bath rug is not a competitor with coffin shelf. All right, it's 2 separate products, but there's relevancy. There's a history of people buying the 2. Now, the reason I'm doing that is because now I'm going to take those products. Maybe there are 5 products that are commonly showing up with my competitors. Maybe it's 10. It's up to you. And then I'm going to pick like the top 1 or 2 keywords of each of those products. All right. So let's say that to my coffin shelf, one of the other top products that showed up and frequently bought together was a coffin-shaped light cover, like a light switch, right? Or a coffin-shaped toilet paper dispenser, whatever it is, right? What is the main keyword of that? Well, it's going to be, coffin-shaped light cover or something like that, right? I want that keyword in my listing. They're number 1 and they're number 2 keywords, like the most relevant keywords. If I were to flip this and somebody had a coffin bath mat and my product is a coffin shelf, what keywords are they going to choose for me? Well, they would choose coffin shelf, right? For them. Now, why is this? This is something unique, all right? I want to be related to these products from day one. I'm not making some wild guess that people who are interested in coffin shelves are also going to be interested in this coffin-shaped light cover. No, Amazon is telling me people are buying these products together. So how does it benefit me by having this other product, which doesn't describe my product, being indexed for that keyword? Well, it just sends that little relevancy signal to Amazon saying, hey, Amazon, this product has this keyword in here. When I'm doing my product targeting from day one, usually I'm going to be able to target that other product. Those are the products you want to target. If I have a coffin shelf and I don't have any of those coffin, light cover keywords in my listing, eventually will I show up in product targeting, sponsored display ads and things like that? Probably. When in an auto campaign, Amazon might one day just show it, or in some other kind of product targeting, maybe I'll get impressions. But I want to start getting those impressions from like day one of my listing, and then if I actually am indexed for that keyword, it's going to give me a lot better chance from day one to start showing up in product targeting, and then I hopefully going to get sales from those product targeting ads because I see a history of frequently bought together. So that's another set of keywords I'm going to go ahead and want to put in my listing. Now, another part that doesn't have to do with Helium 10 is using Product Opportunity Explorer. Now, probably 98% of the keywords I'm going to see in Product Opportunity Explorer I already got from Cerebro or Magnet or Brand Analytics or one of these others. But every now and then there's like maybe some new up and coming keyword that might not be, in the other ones. So this is kind of like a nice little bookend, right? And obviously, for those of you don't have Helium 10 for whatever strange reason out there, you're one of the few top sellers who don't use it. Well, you kind of have to use only Product Opportunity Explorer. But I'll put my competitors into Product Opportunity Explorer and check what niches they're in. Or if my main keyword has a niche on Product Opportunity Explorer, not all main keywords do, I'm going to look at the other niche keywords, and then I'm going to get that and go ahead and put it in my keyword list as well. All right, next up is the listing optimization. This is key, all right? All those keywords from my 2 lists, I'm throwing into Listing Builder, okay? It could be, 300, 400 phrases. I'm not sure. Well, Listing Builder immediately is going to break down my phrases with my individual keywords. Now, remember, the top keywords, by the way, at the same time, I'm going to bring in all of my competitors, those 10, 15 top competitors. I'm importing them into my listing builder. I think this is only a diamond and up plan so that you can see those competitor performance scores that you see in Cerebro. Okay. So now I know what are the most relevant keywords. What are those top keywords? It's because those are probably have a CPS score of like, 8, 9, or 10, right? And how I'm going to prioritize this now is, hey, even though it says 400 phrases or 300 or 100, there's no one number that's right or wrong, but however many phrases I have, now I know, hey, I'm only picking like the top 10 or 15 phrases, the ones that are the most relevant with that high score, to make sure I have in phrase form, plus any of those other keywords that I'm like, hey, maybe I found this keyword in brand analytics, or maybe it's one of those opportunity keywords, or maybe it's, something else. I'm going to go ahead and, make sure those get in phrase form. The rest of it, guess what? All I have to do is make sure that those individual keywords are in there once somewhere in my listing, because if I have 300 phrases, they're probably, that's probably, three, maybe let's just say they have 3 words each. There's probably 900 words in those 300 phrases, right? It doesn't mean that I have to put 900 different individual words. Those 900 words, there's probably only like 200 or 300 individual words that are unique. The rest are just duplicates of each other, right? So then what I would do is, hey, the Helium 10 listing builder is already taking out those duplicates. I just got to make sure each of those individual keywords I have somewhere in my listing. Now, at this point, I can have AI and listing builder kind of just like, make me a rough listing, or I could just write the listing. A couple things to remember when you're making the title, all right? Put your best keyword in the title. For me, coffin shelf is going to be there. If it's an egg holder, maybe egg holder countertop. But then what I'm going to do is there another top keyword like Gothic decor? I'll stick that. The coffin shelf and Gothic decor, they're not even nested keywords, but if I've got 2 top keywords, I can usually find a way to put 2 top keywords in my listing. But here's the thing. Once you do that, now use the Helium 10 to see what are those root phrases, if it's a 2-word root or more. Now what happens is now I'm going to be like, hey, what are some nested keywords I can use? An example I've always used is maybe I have my main keyword is egg holder, and then additional keyword egg holder countertop for kitchen. Rustic egg holder countertop for kitchen. If I put the keyword in my title, rustic egg holder countertop for kitchen, I've got like 5-6 phrases in phrase form right there, because Amazon is not making me, it looks at those phrases just in the order of the words that it's at. It's not making me put those phrases all separately. So that's what you should do. Pick your 2 top keywords and then see what other nested keywords can you put in there so you can kill a couple birds with one stone for, sending those relevancy signals to Amazon that, hey, this is what my product is about. Now, the rest of my listing, again, I'm focusing on trying to get those key phrases in phrase form in my listing. But again, do not just keyword stuff. It's not just about, hey, I need to put these keywords, this many times, etc. Listing builder, we have some tool or some scoring that will help you to know what kind of score you have, but you have really got to connect to the customer when you're making your listing. This doesn't have to do with the launch per se, but again, this isn't necessarily about AI. This is nothing new, guys. I've been talking about this for 6 years since I've worked at Helium 10. You have got to use review insights in Helium 10 to look at your competitors' reviews. What do people like about it? What do people not like about it? Talk about that in your listing. All right. I've used the example for years about collagen peptides. One of the top things from review insights that comes up is it says in my coffee, because people are using it in their coffee, right? Is that a keyword? No, but I'm going to write about that. I'm going to put that in my image. I'm going to show if I had collagen peptides, somebody at a kitchen table, pouring it into their coffee, because that's how people are using it. I'm going to talk about that in the bullet points. Again, not to send a relevancy signal for a certain keyword or to rank for in my coffee. I'm not trying to rank for in my coffee, but I'm trying to connect with the customer. And by the way, guys, going back to what I said before, if something change, as things change with AI and Rufus and things like that, somebody might ask a question like, hey, how can I, find the best, collagen peptides that'll fit in my coffee? Well, guess what? You're going to be the one that has that in your listing. So the Amazon AI is going to relate it to your product. But again, that's not the reason to do it. It's not because, oh yeah, Rufus is out there now, that's why you should put this. No, I've been talking about this for 6 years, even before there was a such thing as Rufus, right? So again, make sure you are talking to the customer in your listing as well. Make those emotional connections with your customer. What problems does your product solve? What are the use cases? And I'm talking about images. I'm talking about your bullet points, your description, your A+ content. Speak to the customer. Then you don't have to worry about fancy stuff about AI and whatnot, because you're already covering your bases. Now, the next aspect here is something I just released last year in episode 500, which I hadn't talked about before, and that's making a test listing. The reason why I want to make a test listing nowadays is because I don't know what's going on, but there are so many times where it seems like Amazon gets confused about products from the get-go. I've talked about this before, but how this came up or how I discovered it was because I was launching these coffee socks, right? And then what happened was, when I say coffee socks, it's socks that had a message on the bottom where it says, hey, if you can read this, bring me coffee, right? And so I wanted to rank for, coffee gifts for women or gifts for coffee lovers and things like that. And I couldn't even get impressions in PPC. And then when I ran the relevancy test that only you can get in Helium 10 with Amazon recommended rank, the coffee keywords were not even in its top 20. All the top 20 keywords was like, black sock and pink sock and black shoe. And I'm like, oh man, Amazon is completely confused about this product. And I was like, well, it kind of makes sense because, coffee is in the grocery category, right? My product, it's a sock, it's in the fashion category. Amazon probably thinks that, why does this product need to be relevant for the coffee related keywords, right? So this is what happens sometimes when you just launch your listing, and then you usually have to all right, I need to re-optimize my listing. I need to send traffic. By the way, one of the best ways to get relevancy for keywords you are indexed for is using the old school two-step field ASIN URLs. All right, you can pull one of those field ASIN two-step URLs by using index checker, and then just give that to 4 or 5 people. This is not against Amazon terms of service. Am I trying to rank? Am I trying to increase my ranking for a certain keyword? No. That's against Amazon terms of service. We used to do that all day long. 5 years ago, that used to be part of the Maldives Honeymoon strategy. The reason why this is not against terms of service is I couldn't care less about ranking. I mean, maybe later I want to rank for this keyword, but all I need to do is just get a couple of orders for, using one of those URLs to send that relevancy. I'm going to show you some examples about how amazing that works, where in 2 days I can get that Amazon relevancy for that keyword that I didn't. And so that's what I did for my coffee listing. I do it for other listings. But anyways, these are things that you're testing. Maybe that doesn't work. Maybe you have to do a search find by to send a relevancy signal to. That was a loud wave there. I'm not sure if you guys picked that up. But anyways, maybe you have to send a search find by, which again is against Amazon terms of service if you're trying to rank. But if you're just trying to send relevancy signals, there's nothing against terms of service for that for now. But anyways, if you're trying to launch a product and you're in the honeymoon period and you're trying to figure stuff out and test and all right, let me check back tomorrow. Did this affect my relevancies? Do I get PPC impressions now? You're losing days of your honeymoon. You want to hit the ground running from day one of your listing, right? And so it's important to make a test listing to see, hey, is Amazon confused? Oh, yes. If yes, well, now what steps do I have to take to fix it? And then now when you make your real listing, exactly on day one, exactly what you have to do instead of trying to run these experiments. The other reason to do test listings is you can test your PPC. Are you getting PPC impressions from day one on all your keywords? If not, again, you might have to do some relevancy switches on there. What PPC bid gets you in the top 4 positions? If you launch your product without this, it's fine. You'll know within 4 hours, thanks to Helium 10's keyword tracker that has boost, right? You'll know in 4 hours, I need to raise or lower the bid. But since you're doing this listing anyways, might as well figure out what that exact bid is that gets you to the top of search, right? And now once you've got that bid, hey, when you make your real listing and you make your real PPC campaign, your launch campaign, you'll know from day one exactly the bids that's going to get you at the top of the page. So that's why I like doing test listings at first. I do a throwaway ASIN. I use similar images. I don't want to use the exact same images. All right. I have to use a throwaway UPC, throw a fulfilled by merchant listing up. All right. Put one inventory in. I'll put a high price because I don't want to get purchases maybe. Right. And then I just start playing with these things and testing. I run it through Cerebro. What is the Amazon recommended rank? Start my PPC campaign for it. Where is it showing me? I run my keyword tracker. I get all of this data so that when I make my quote unquote real listing from day one, I have all my ducks lined up in a row where I know exactly what I have to do. When you make your real listing, but your product isn't ready to in Amazon yet, make sure to put a future date. All right. Now be careful though. All right. Be careful. There's some listings that have this thing called street date. All right. So if you see 4 different dates, be very careful which dates you do. Before I used to just say, oh yeah, wherever you see a date for listing launch date and merchant go live date or whatever, just put some random date in the future. And then once the product actually gets there, then go ahead and, change the date. But there's one of these things, I'm going to talk a little bit about it later when I show you some real life examples. There's one of these dates that you can't change unless maybe you use a special flat file, which I haven't tested yet, but you can't change it. So you're locked into a pre-buy until then. So just be very careful when setting the date in the future, but you don't want to just create your listing and have your listing potentially active where other people can find that ASIN and make it active in their seller central. And now it's counting days against your honeymoon period for you. You don't want to do that. So put your date in the future or just create the listing the same day you're going to launch it. Those of you who have warehouses in the United States like me, that's what I do. I don't put a future date always because I got the product in my warehouse. I turn on my fulfilled by merchant listing the same day, and then I send the inventory to Amazon, and I'm getting orders from day one. All right, you got to do one of those things. You've got your regular listing Everything is set up. It's launch date. All right. What do? I keep my product at what I want my list price to be. Maybe I want my list price to be above what my regular price is going to be. Let's just say your regular price, you want to target $39.99. I want to maybe set a list price at $43.99 just to give me some leeway down the road. Okay. So then put my list price at $43.99, put my regular price at $43.99. And then the thing that I do that works most of the time is I want to get 5 orders at that price, set that as a baseline price and give me the best chance to get that strike through pricing. Okay. So if it's going to be $43.99, I have 5 people lined up, not giving them search, find, buy. I'm not giving them, URLs to try and rank for, unless, it's to send those relevancy signals. Maybe I can do it as a combined thing, but I get 5 people to buy at a full price. And then that sets that baseline price. It gives me the best chance to be able to have that strike through price because I want to do a big discount, in the beginning. Now, other things that don't work to get the strike through price, I tried once to use a social media coupon code, or I did a social media coupon code and I was like, all right, $43.99. And then I had people use the social media coupon code, do it 5 of them, didn't work to get the strike through price. And it doesn't set that. Off and on, when it does work, is doing a coupon. All right, I can do a coupon, or a promotional price where it's a clippable coupon, or a promotion that's on the page, right, where they click it. That sometimes works. But if you're just worried about I'm not sure it's going to work or not, the best thing to do is just get the full price orders, 5 of them. Now, once that's ready, I immediately go ahead and start my PPC campaigns. Now, what I've been doing is I have one PPC campaign. It's going to be a throwaway campaign, as in it's only going to last for maybe 1 month. I call it my launch campaign. And in there, I put my top 5 or 10 keywords that I'm trying to rank for. Again, it includes maybe only 2 or 3 main keywords that I'm really trying to rank for, and then 6 to 10 of the supplementary keywords, using that same principle about how you make the title, having keywords nested together. Like if the keyword is egg holder countertop, then I'll have large egg holder countertop kitchen, et cetera. I'm launching all these at once, and I'm doing a fixed bid, no bid modifiers, just a fixed bid. And then what I'm doing is I put that PPC bid that I know is going to get me in those first 4 PPC positions. And if I didn't do that test listing, no problem. I just put those keywords in keyword tracker, turn boost on. Within 4 hours, I'll know, did it get me that top ranking or sponsored rank or not? Now, what I'm doing here, the whole point of this is I'm trying to get enough orders for the CPR number that's in Helium 10, which is how many products you have to sell after the search of a keyword over 8 days to give me the best chance. Now, do you have to do all of the CPR number to get on page 1? No, sometimes I'll do it with even half or even 25% of that CPR number. I'll go ahead and be on page 1 already, but the full CPR gives you the best chance at sticking on page 1 afterwards. All right. And now I've got that PPC campaign set up. I'll go ahead and set up in Helium 10 Atomic my other campaigns as well, but with lower bids. That's my exact match campaign, my research, which is a broad match campaign, my auto campaign, my sponsored display targeting campaign, my sponsored brand video campaign. Sometimes I start from day 1 too, just with lower bids, just because I want to get some residual sales, but other people don't like to do those right away. Either way works. There's reasons to do it and not to do it. All right. The reasons to do it is hey, when you're in your honeymoon period, you just get so much love from Amazon. It's going to show you across the board for all these keywords, right? So that's why I do it. But then the drawback is if you have this huge discount on your listing, you don't want just a random keywords where your product is showing up and then you're getting conversions and it doesn't even you're not even trying to rank for those keywords per se right off the bat. You're focused on those 5-10 keywords. So then, maybe you don't want all of your spend going to there. So that way I've done both ways before. You guys choose what works best for you. Now, one thing, since I'm doing, I'm losing, you're going to lose money, guys. I lose money my first month of selling. That's for 6 years of launch. You lose, it takes money to make money, right? So you don't want to be losing more than you need to. So let's say the CPR number for a keyword is 80, meaning I need 80 over 8 days. That's like an average of 10 a day. Like if I get 10 orders in 1 day for one keyword, I'm monitoring those PPC numbers. I'm going to go ahead and pause that bid for the rest of the day and then restart it the next day until I get 10. All right. So that's just something to keep in mind, that it's not going to help you stick your rank anymore if you get 25 orders that first day, right? And then, that's not giving you a better chance. Like all you need is those 10, and then I'm going to pause it because I don't want to keep losing money when I've already done what I need to do to rank for that keyword when I'm losing money on every order, right? Now, how do you do that big discount price? Well, what's the thought process here? The thought process of even doing a huge discount in the beginning, it's for 2 reasons. Number 1 is your product has no reviews. People might not even know your brand. you're trying to compete with products that do have reviews, even if they only got 50 or 100 or more. Maybe you're doing a competitive niche. What reason would somebody have to buy your product if your price is priced the same? 0 reviews. Like maybe you had something in your image. Like this isn't guaranteed that you have to do it like this. Maybe you're the only product that has a laser that everybody needs on the water bottle or some weird thing like that. Well, yeah, you don't even need to do any discount. If everybody wants that because that's what they saw on TikTok, it went viral, they're only going to buy your product. You can have your product more expensive than others. Those have thousands of reviews. You've got 0 reviews, and you'll get all the orders because you've got some special thing. But if you don't have that special thing, if you're just kind of similar, you just got a little bit better product than everybody else, you've got to give incentives to people to buy your product without that trust, without that social proof of reviews. And to do that, usually it's finding that price where it's like a person might not trust you yet, but they're like, shoot, at this price, I'll go ahead and get it. All right. For a couple of my products, like I had one product that my target price was going to be $24. To me, that was like $12. It was like an egg tray. For my coffin letterboard that I was doing, my target price is going to be like $39. I had to launch at $17 because I just wanted to like make it a no-brainer for people to get it. All right. The other reason to have this low price is that's when I start my Vine, which is the next step of the honeymoon period, is start your Vine as soon as your low price goes active. Now, the reason is because the Amazon Vine reviewers, there's 2 reasons. There's 2 reasons of this reason, all right? Amazon Vine reviewers, they only have so many products they can get for free before they have to start declaring tax or something like that. So even though they're not paying for the product, they sometimes prioritize the lower price products so that it doesn't count so much to that monthly total that they have to hit or that they can't hit unless they hit that tax threshold. The other reason is it gives you a better chance to have a positive review from Vine, right? The Vine reviewers can see the product price. And so if your product is full price $39 and if they just a little bit kind of don't like the product, well, they might give you 3 or 4 stars when you're trying to get 5 stars because they're like, the value is not that great. I was expecting more. But now think about it. If they had the product, maybe they didn't like it too much, but then they remember, oh shoot, this product is like $13 and I'm going to go ahead and give it 5 stars because it was $13. You like that. It's still a good value. All right. So you see how it could be the difference, not always, but it could be the difference of you getting a 3 and a 4 star or a 4 and a 5 star. Right. So those are the 2 reasons why I do a low price. Now, the question is how to do low prices. All right. There's different ways, but you got to be careful because nowadays Amazon changed. Again, this year, this is something newer to the Maldives honeymoon period. You can't just have these sale prices that go on indefinitely and start raising the sale price up and then never lose your buy box. Amazon a lot of times will have you lose the buy box if you had it at a certain price using the sale price, and then later you keep trying to raise it up. Like at that price, I want to raise to $34. I start at 13. Maybe I go to 15. Once I hit like 22 or something, it's like, no, you're price gouging. I'm like stuck. Now I have to get like X number of purchases at that new price point before I can go to something else. All right. So that's where you got to be careful. So there's different ways to do discounts. You can do a big coupon when you first launch. So you might want to do the coupon first, see how it works. You can just do a promotional price. All right. Now you got to be careful. Sometimes those don't show up that noticeable in the search results. You could just do a sale price on the product, right? If especially that works if you do if you get that strike through, or you could do the discount. That's like something newish that Amazon just launched this year, the price discount section. But here's the thing. If you're going to be doing this in phases, right? If you're doing a price discount, you're locked in at that discount. And then the next thing you have to do is just go to that regular price, because you cannot go and say, all right, I'm going to do a 50% price discount. Now in 2 weeks, let me make that a 40%. No, you can only go the other direction with price discounts. Amazon sets that as the cheapest price in 30 days. And you can't just keep going a little bit higher. It's going to say, no, it's got to be at least 51% discount now, or something like that. If your discount was 50, so then that's why sometimes maybe the first thing you do is a coupon, and then the next thing you do is the price discount, and then the next thing you do is like the sale price, and then hope that Amazon gives you your buy box. But sometimes it doesn't. You're gonna have to just grin and bear it and start raising that price up little by little by getting those orders and raising that average price velocity, that whatever sets off Amazon's price price matching buy box suppression that they do. Now, again, the whole reason of this big discount, whether it's 50%, 60%, whatever you're doing, is you're trying to get that sales velocity on those keywords, on those PPC keywords, those launch PPC campaign that you're doing. You're showing up at the top of the search results. Somebody search that keyword. They see you at the top. They click it. They buy it. That's going to help your organic ranking. All right. So just keep doing that until you can reach your organic rank that you're trying to reach. Now, once you hit that 8-day CPR mark, or once you're just happy with your organic ranking, you turn off that fixed bid. Turn off that target for that keyword that you reach your ranking, that you like it. And then that's when I switched to that keyword to my down only regular performance campaign, because that fixed bid, I'm paying a lot of money for that position. I want to dial back a little bit and just kind of like find what my evergreen bid is going to be. So you want to do that one by one as you start achieving your organic ranks or your CPR number until all of those in your launch campaign, and then you just are finished, and then you just close, not archive, but just pause that entire launch campaign with all of those individual targets that are paused. All right, so that's pretty much the Maldives Honeymoon strategy. Now let's go ahead and hop in and show you some of these things in action and what kind of results I had. Here's an example of one of the products I launched, an 18 egg rack launch. All right, here's my PPC campaign that I did, my launch campaign, and you can see that now they're all paused. But I had put a fixed bid and I had a very high bid here. Now look at this problem. This was like all the way back in June 14 to 16, 3 days. This was on my my actual listing. I didn't do a test listing on this. Look at this. For some of my keywords, I was getting no impressions almost in 3 days. And for egg holder countertop, my main keyword, only 131 impressions in 3 days I got, right? This shows when my listing actually started, was 6/14. All right. So this was terrible for the first 3 days of my listing. So I took the listing, I threw it into Cerebro, I ran it, and I checked Amazon recommended rank. It only had me relevant for whatever reason for 2 stinking keywords. All right, kitchen decor and kitchen rack, not even what my product is. And so now it's like, okay, there's no doubt, like obviously Amazon's confused. So then what I did was like, I sent in my little Slack on June 16th. I'm like, all right, I sent this to a couple employees here at Helium 10. I'm like, hey guys, tonight or tomorrow, can you guys do something for this case study? And it's also about my release date. I was testing something on my release date, and I said, hey, search egg holder countertop, and then you'll see this product in the sponsored ads. Hopefully, all right. It's not showing you impressions, so it's like way down the line. You might have to go to another page because it's not giving me many impressions. But try to find it, click on that sponsored ad, and purchase it. All right, and so that's what they did. Now, meantime, I had other issues with this listing. Again, this is why I'm like saying you've got to do these test listings. Is the pre-buy wasn't even like allowing me to launch this product, and so like I had this whole case I had with seller support where I was trying to get that fixed all at the same time that I was messing with my relevancy. So all of this I should have done on a test listing if I'd followed my own advice, but I was doing this on a live listing. Now, as you guys can see, right on June 16th. As soon as they started doing those orders, now all of a sudden I started showing up at the top. On June 14th and 15th, I was barely showing up. I was barely getting impressions. I was showing up in like number 50, number 55 for sponsored rank, right? Now, finally, I got my relevancy fixed, but then that's when I had this other problem where my listing just completely went dead, and I had to fight for like 2 or 3 days to even get it working. And then I finally got it working back on June 16, June 17, around there. And so that's why you can see the sponsored rank increase. Now, what was the results of those search, find, buy in order to send those relevancy signals? Again, not for rank, but to send those relevancy signals to Amazon. Take a look at this. When I ran in Cerebro on June 19th, just 3 days after they did that relevancy signal, push, those 3 coworkers here at Helium 10, take a look now at the Amazon recommended rank. Remember how it was only showing 2 keywords for Amazon recommended rank? Now it was showing multiple ones, and it put that keyword that I sent the relevancy signal for, egg holder countertop, it had Amazon recommended rank number 3, which basically means that was the 3rd most important keyword according to Amazon for this product. Now, do you remember what I was getting for impressions in PPC, like 200 total impressions over 3 days? What did sending those relevant signals to Amazon do for my PPC impressions? Take a look at this. The next 3-day period from June 19th, when my relevancy got fixed, to June 21st, instead of 200 impressions, 5,000 impressions. 4,000 of that, what keyword was it for? Egg holder countertop, that one that I sent those relevancy signals to Amazon for. This works, guys. Now, what happened to my organic rank now that I was able to finally start, getting some impressions in PPC and really doing my Maldives Honeymoon strategy? Look at my organic rank. I was on page 2, on the first few days of my listing. By June 20th, I was already on page 1, only 1 day later. And then by June 23rd, I was like in the top 5 on page 1 for my main keyword, egg holder countertop. Remember, I was targeting other longer tail versions of that. Fresh egg holder countertop, June 23rd, in the top 6 positions. Another keyword, fresh egg holder. All right, so that's part of egg holder countertop, fresh egg holder, by June 23rd in the top 10 positions for that keyword, and I was able to stick the landing there. Because of some of those sales velocity that I got this new arrival pick badge. Sometimes I'll get the new arrival pick. Sometimes I'll get other badges like the top new seller. These kind of will help your conversions as well if you can get these. If you can get these badges, you can also see because I got those 5 orders at regular price. Amazon gave me a strike through price, and it said list price $33.97, my price $24.97. I did the same exact thing for a very similar product. That was a 36 egg holder. I did now one for 24 egg holder. I was like, pick the same exact keywords like a month or two later, do the same exact thing just to make sure, hey, I got to make sure this strategy wasn't just a fluke. Can I reproduce these results? And sure enough, the same thing happened. Before doing anything, I launched the product. I only had Amazon relevancy for kitchen rack, kitchen holder, kitchen decor. A little bit more, but still no egg holder countertop. But this time I was ready. So from day one, I had more employees at Helium 10 said, hey, go ahead, instead of doing a search, find, buy, do a 2-step URL using a field ASIN URL. And I gave them that link, and I even gave them a discount code or a coupon. And that not only did it work, but it still gave me that strike through price, even though I was using a discount code on it. And what did it do for my relevancy? Take a look here. On July 19th, I got egg holder countertop to be the number 5 most Amazon recommended ranked keyword for my product. So again, I completely reproduced the results, which kind of just proves this strategy. But at the end of the day, what happened to my organic rank? Same thing. Middle of July when I didn't have that relevancy, I was ranked page 2, page 3. As soon as I made those relevancy hits, within a day or two, it put me into the top 3 positions organically, even so that I could maintain one of the top ranks for this new product. Here's another product I recently launched in the last month, Coffin Letterboard, a little bit more of a competitive niche on Amazon than some of these egg racks. I was able to get the number 1 new release in changeable letterboards category due to this launch. Doing this launch got me within 1 week on all of my main phase 1 launch keywords, every single one that I had targeted. I got top 3, and then one of them had top 8 only for organic rank within 1 week of my launch. I even got brand analytics, the number 2 clicked keyword for the whole keyword for this brand new product launch. Here's another product I launched in another category. I was able to get the number 1 new release. Here you can see I got a nice red negative 58% discount off of a typical price $44.97. I was able to do that with 5 full price buys and then doing the discount price here, the price discount to $18.97. It gave me a big nice red minus 58% off. So guys, these strategies work. All right. This is something that, that I obsess over. Now, is Amazon going to change the algorithm and are you going to have to start doing new things later on for ranking? Of course. Every single year I've done this Maldives Honeymoon strategy, I always have new things because Amazon is always changing. The way the Amazon algorithm works is always changing. But the fundamental principles, guys, have not changed. The fundamental principles are you got to play to the Amazon algorithm and you got to play to your target customer. If you're doing these things, you don't have to worry about what might change with AI and not, because at the end of the day, Amazon is trying to serve the customer. It's going to have machine learning, it's going to have AI, it's going to have whatever. But what is Amazon trying to do at the end of the day? Make sure they're showing relevant products to the customer so that Amazon can get its commission and its fair and its share, right? So with doing your listing optimization, your keyword research, keep these fundamentals. Know the right keywords, all right? Even if things change to AI in the future, Amazon still needs to know from day one what your listing is. If you don't have the right keywords in there, it's not like AI is going to magically make you relevant for keywords or for use cases that you don't even have anywhere in your listing, all right? So you have got to be able to create your listings in a way that makes the Amazon algorithm happy and that makes the customer happy, because it's later on, after that launch phase, it's customer interactions with your product, the ways that customers find your product, the way that they click, the way that they add to cart, the way that they actually purchase it, the reviews they leave about your product. This is what's going to sustain you. These things that I show, this helps you get to page 1, but then if you don't convert, if Amazon buyers don't leave you good reviews, if they're returning their product a lot, if they click on your product and they don't like your listing, so they click off of it and buy another one, your organic rank is not going to stick. You're not going to have success. So guys, I love doing this episode every year, not just because I get to come to cool places like the Maldives like this, but It's because launch is my passion, and I'm always going to be doing lots of tests. I only showed you about 3 or 4 different tests, but I've launched over 10 products in the last 6 months or so, where I've been testing different things, and I'm going to continue to keep launching new products to make sure what's working, what's not working. Now, if anything huge happens, I might have to come back to the Maldives or something before episode 700, I guess. That's a big sacrifice I'll have to make to have to come back here. But otherwise, consider this your go-to launch strategy for the next year or so, and then we'll come back and for episode 700 to maybe another resort here in the Maldives, and then I'll try and let you know what's new that's going to work with launch. Well, guys, I hope you guys are able to use these strategies, and I wish you the most of success using these Maldives Honeymoon launch strategies for your next Amazon product launch. We'll see you in the next episode.